In the golden halls of Asgard, where time moves like honey and every sunset lasts for hours, there is a garden that few remember. The air here smells of pine and distant snow, and the light falls softly through silver birch trees, dappling the moss in patterns that shift with the gentlest breeze. Before we settle into the warmth of this evening, take a moment whenever you're watching this, morning, afternoon, or deep night, to let yourself simply be here. And if you'd like more stories like this to carry you into peaceful sleep, a quiet subscribe means the world. Tonight, we rest in the realm of gods, but there is no drama here, only the soft glow of a world at peace. And so, our story begins. This quiet legend from the ancient North tells of a time before the great battles, before prophecies weighed heavy on divine shoulders. A time when Asgard simply was, and being was enough. The gods walked through meadows of eternal spring, and every soul who dwelled there knew they were watched over, held safe in the palm of something greater than themselves. Tonight, we follow a young spirit named Hera, newly arrived in Asgard after a long journey from Midgard. She does not know yet that she belongs here. She does not know yet that she is home. Hera stands at the edge of a vast meadow, her bare feet sinking slightly into grass that feels alive with warmth. The blades are soft as silk, each one catching the light of a sun that never quite sets. She has walked for what feels like days, though time here does not move the way it once did. There is no urgency in her chest, no need to hurry toward anything. She simply walks because the path feels good beneath her feet. She came from a world of noise and worry, though already those memories fade like morning mist. What remains is the feeling of being tired, so very tired, and the faint hope that somewhere there might be rest. The meadow stretches endlessly in every direction, dotted with flowers she has never seen before. Some glow faintly blue, others pulse with a soft golden light that matches her heartbeat. When she kneels to touch one, its petals are cool and smooth, like river stones warmed by summer sun. A voice reaches her, gentle as wind through leaves. "You've come a long way." Hera looks up. An old man sits on a low stone wall she had not noticed before, his cloak the color of twilight. He has only one eye, but that eye holds no judgment, only a deep kindness that makes her throat tight with something she cannot name. His face is lined with years beyond counting, but his expression is soft, almost amused. "I didn't know where else to go," Hera says quietly, "and it is the truth. You found where you were meant to be," the old man replies. He gestures to the meadow around them. "This is Asgard. Not the Asgard of battles and thunder, but the one that exists beneath all that noise. The one that was here first and will be here last." Hera sits on the grass, and it cushions her like a cloud. The old man, she knows somehow that he is Odin, though he wears no crown and carries no spear, watches her with that single knowing eye. "What do I do now?" she asks. "Nothing," he says, and smiles. "There is nothing you need to do. You are safe here. You are watched over. Every corner of this realm knows you now and welcomes you." The words settle over her like a blanket. She realizes she has been waiting her entire life to hear them. Odin rises, and his shadow falls across the grass like a blessing. "Walk where you wish, rest when you need. There are others here who will find you, and you will find them." No one is ever truly alone in Asgard, though solitude is always available when you need it. The land itself will guide you. He begins to walk away, his steps silent on the soft earth. Then he pauses, glancing back. There is a grove to the east, where the trees remember every kind word ever spoken. You might like it there. And then he is gone, not vanishing, but simply becoming part of the landscape, as if he were always the wind and the light and the earth itself. Era sits for a long time in the meadow. The flowers around her hum very softly, a sound that might be music or might be the earth breathing. The sky overhead is a canvas of colors that shift slowly, pale gold melting into soft rose, then lavender, then back to gold again. It never darkens completely. Even what passes for night here is gentle, lit by stars that hang so close she feels she could touch them if she reached up. Eventually, she stands. Her body feels lighter than it has in years, as if some weight she had grown so used to carrying has finally been set down. She walks east, following the path that appears beneath her feet, not because she summoned it, but because the land wants to help her along. The grove Odin spoke of reveals itself gradually. First, a single tree with bark that shimmers like pearl. Then another and another, until she stands at the edge of a forest that glows from within. The trees here are ancient, their trunks wide as houses, their branches forming a canopy that filters the eternal twilight into patterns of gold and green. The air smells of honey and old books, of rain on warm stone and bread fresh from the oven. Every comforting scent she has ever known, all at once, but never overwhelming. Era steps between the trees, and their presence wraps around her like arms. She can feel them, not as separate beings, but as one great awareness that notices her arrival and approves. The ground beneath her feet is covered in moss, so thick it feels like walking on clouds. Tiny lights drift through the air, not quite fireflies, but something gentler, like captured starlight set free to wander. She finds a clearing where a stream runs through, its water so clear she can see every smooth stone on its bed. The sound it makes is the most peaceful thing she has ever heard. Not the rush of a river, but a quiet murmur, like someone humming a lullaby just for her. She kneels beside it and cups her hands, bringing the water to her lips. It tastes of nothing and everything, cool and sweet and exactly what she needed, though she had not known she was thirsty. Across the stream, sitting on a fallen log, is a woman with long silver hair that moves as if underwater. Her face is ageless, her eyes the color of deep winter. She wears robes of white that seem to be made of mist, and when she smiles at Era, it is the smile of someone who has been waiting. "I am Frigg," the woman says, her voice like silk sliding over skin. "I tend to those who arrive here tired and uncertain. Will you sit with me?" Era crosses the stream. The water is warm around her ankles and sits on the log beside Frigg. The wood is smooth and sun-warmed, and sitting feels like sinking into the safest embrace she has ever known. "What is this place?" Era asks, though she is beginning to understand. "This is the heart of Asgard," Frigg says, "the path that exists outside of time and story. Every realm has such a place, a center where all the love and safety of that world gathers and waits for those who need it. You needed it. So you found it." Frigg reaches out and touches Era's hair, smoothing it back from her face in a gesture so motherly that Era feels tears rise, though they do not fall. "You have been carrying so much," Frigg murmurs. "Worry and fear and the weight of a world that asks too much of you. You can set it all down now. There is no need for any of it here." "I don't know how," Era whispers. "Then let me hold it for you," Frigg says simply, and Era feels something lift from her chest, not violently, but gently, like a bird taking flight. The worry she has carried for so long simply floats away, and in its absence is a warmth that fills every hollow place inside her. They sit together in silence for a long time. The stream murmurs its endless song. The trees sway, though there is no wind, and their leaves create a sound like distant rain on a roof. Above them, through the canopy, stars begin to appear one by one, each one impossibly bright and close. "What do I do now?" Era asks eventually. Whatever brings you peace, Frigg answers. Sleep, if you wish. Walk, if you prefer. Sit here and listen to the water. There is no wrong choice. There is no path you must follow. You are free here to simply be. Era realizes she cannot remember the last time someone told her she did not have to do anything. The relief of it is so profound it makes her dizzy. Frigg stands, her robe shifting around her like smoke. I will leave you now, but I am never far. If you need me, simply think my name and I will come. This grove is yours as much as it is mine. Rest well, dear one. She walks into the trees, and Era watches her go until the silver of her hair blends with the silver light filtering through the leaves, and then she is simply part of the forest. Era lies back on the moss. It cushions her completely, conforming to the shape of her body as if it were made for her alone. Above her, the leaves shimmer with that gentle internal light, creating patterns that shift and dance but never startle. She can hear the stream, and somewhere far away, the call of a bird, not urgent, just a soft note that hangs in the air like a promise. She closes her eyes, and the warmth of the grove surrounds her. She can feel the ancient trees holding this space, creating a shelter that nothing can breach. She is safe here. She is watched over. She is exactly where she is meant to be. For the first time in longer than she can remember, Era feels herself begin to truly rest. When she opens her eyes again, hours later or perhaps only moments, the quality of light has changed. The gold has deepened to amber, and the air smells of evening, though evening never truly comes here. She sits up slowly, unhurried, and finds that her body feels different. Lighter, younger somehow, though not in years but in burden. She rises and continues through the grove, following no path but her own inclination. The trees seem to part for her, creating space, showing her the way forward even though there is no destination she needs to reach. She walks through shafts of golden light that fall between branches, and each one warms her skin like gentle hands. She finds another clearing, this one larger, where the trees form a perfect circle. In the center is a fire that burns without wood, its flames a soft blue-white that give off no smoke. Around the fire are scattered cushions and blankets in colors of sky and earth and growing things. And sitting on one of the cushions, legs crossed, is a young man with bright red hair and eyes that crackle with barely contained joy. "You must be Era," he says, grinning. "Odin said you'd be wandering through. I'm Thor." "Well, I'm not the Thor you might have heard about. That one's busy elsewhere. I'm the version that lives here, in this part of Asgard, the quiet part." He pats the cushion beside him. "Come sit. The fire is nice, even though it's not cold. Sometimes things are nice just because they are, not because they're needed." Era sits, and the cushion is soft as clouds. The fire warms her face, though Thor is right. She is not cold. But the warmth is comforting anyway, like being held. "I've been waiting for someone to share the fire with," Thor says, his voice gentle despite his powerful frame. "It's nice to sit alone, but it's also nice to sit with someone. Here, you never have to do either unless you want to." "What do you do here?" Era asks. Thor considers this, staring into the flames. "I tend the fire. I watch over travelers who pass through. I remember what it feels like to be strong and to be gentle at the same time. In the other Asgards, I fight and thunder and protect through force. Here, I protect by simply being, by reminding people that strength can be soft." He looks at her, and his eyes are kind. "You're safe here, Era. Completely safe. Nothing that harmed you can follow you here. Nothing that worried you has any power in this place. You can let go of watching over your own shoulder. I'll do it for you." The words settled deep in Ira's chest. She had not realized how much of her energy had gone into vigilance, into staying alert, into protecting herself. To have someone else take on that burden, to have a god take on that burden, feels like being given back years of her life. They sit together by the fire as time passes in its strange, unhurried way. Thor tells her stories, but not the grand tales of battles and glory. Instead, he speaks of small things. A bird he watched build a nest, the way frost forms patterns on windows, the sound of children laughing in Midgard. His voice is deep and warm, and listening to it is like being wrapped in the softest blanket. Eventually, another figure joins them. This one is tall and lean with dark hair and sharp features, but his expression is gentle, almost shy. "I'm Loki," he says, settling cross-legged across the fire from them. "But not the one you might know. Here, I don't trick or scheme, I just shift. I help people see things differently when they need to." He looks at Ira with eyes that seem to see right through her, but not in a way that feels invasive. More like he sees her completely and accepts what he sees without judgment. "You've been holding yourself in one shape for so long," Loki says softly. "One way of being, because you thought that's what was required. Here, you can be whatever shape feels right in any moment. Sad or happy, quiet or loud, certain or confused, all of it is welcome. All of it is you." Ira feels something crack open inside her chest, not painfully, but like a door that has been locked finally swinging free. She has been trying so hard to be one thing, to hold herself together in a specific way, and suddenly she realizes she does not have to anymore. "Thank you," she whispers, and Loki smiles, a real smile, warm and true. The three of them sit by the fire, and sometimes they talk and sometimes they are silent, and both are equally comfortable. Thor adds wood to the flames, though the fire needs no wood, just for the ritual of it. Loki shifts shapes occasionally, a fox, a bird, a drift of smoke, just to show Ira that change is nothing to fear. And Ira simply sits and feels herself slowly, gently, come back together in a new shape that fits better than the old one ever did. When she finally stands to leave, Thor and Loki stand with her. "The grove goes on forever," Thor says. "But there are places within it that might call to you more than others. Follow what feels good. That's the only rule here. And if you ever need company," Loki adds, "we're never far. None of us are. That's what Asgard is, really. A place where you're never alone unless you choose to be. And even then, you're held." Ira continues through the grove, and now she begins to notice others. Not many, but enough. A woman with flowers in her hair who nods at her with a smile. A child who runs past chasing lights, laughing. An old man sitting against a tree, eyes closed, face peaceful. They're all here for the same reason she is, to rest, to heal, to remember what it feels like to be safe. She walks until she finds a place that calls to her. A hollow between two great roots of the largest tree she has ever seen. The roots have grown in such a way that they form a perfect shelter, just large enough for one person. Inside, the ground is covered in soft moss and fallen leaves that smell of cinnamon and nutmeg. Above, the tree's branches create a canopy so thick that the light filters through in gentle golden streams. This is it, she realizes. This is her place. She crawls into the hollow and lies down, and the earth beneath her seems to rise up to hold her. The moss is softer than any bed she has ever slept in. The air here smells of safety, of distant rain and warm bread and clean sheets dried in the sun. She can hear the tree breathing around her, a slow and ancient rhythm that her own breath begins to match. She is warm, she is safe, She is held. She is home. The light through the branches shifts slowly from gold to rose to a gentle purple. Stars appear above, bright and close. Somewhere in the distance, she can hear the stream, and the wind in the leaves, and the soft sounds of others like her finding their own spaces to rest. Asgard holds her. The tree holds her. The earth holds her. She is part of something vast and ancient and infinitely kind. For the first time in her life, Ira feels truly, completely safe. And in that safety, she begins to drift. Not into sleep yet, but into something deeper, a rest that goes beyond the body, a peace that settles into her bones and stays there. The grove knows she is here. The grove approves. The grove will watch over her while she rests. And rest is all she needs to do. Time moves differently in the grove. Era cannot tell if she has been lying in a hollow for minutes or days, and it does not matter. There is no urgency here, no schedule to keep, no expectations weighing on her shoulders. She simply exists, cradled by the earth and the ancient tree, and that is enough. When she finally stirs, it is not because she must, but because something gentle pulls at her awareness. A sound, soft and melodic, drifting through the trees like honey through water. She sits up slowly, her body feeling rested in a way she had forgotten was possible, and follows the sound. The grove seems to know where she wants to go because the path appears beneath her feet. Not a carved trail, but simply a space between the trees that feels right. It glows faintly with welcome. The moss under her feet is cool and soft, and occasionally she steps on fallen leaves that release scents of apple and cedar and something sweeter she cannot name. The music grows clearer as she walks. It is not a song with words, but a melody that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. The trees themselves, perhaps, or the light filtering through the branches, or the very air. It makes her think of childhood, of being small and held and utterly safe. It makes her think of mornings with nowhere to be, of rain on windows while she stayed warm inside, of every gentle moment she has ever known, all woven together into sound. She emerges into another clearing, this one filled with light so golden it seems almost liquid. In the center stands a tree, unlike the others, smaller, more delicate, with branches that droop gracefully toward the ground, covered in blossoms that glow softly pink and white. Beneath the tree sits a woman with hair the color of summer wheat, her face serene, her hands resting gently in her lap. Around her, the air shimmers with the same quality as the music. "Hello, Ira," the woman says, and her voice is part of the music, woven through it. "I am Idun. I tend the orchards of youth and rest. I've been waiting for you." Ira approaches slowly, drawn by the profound peace that radiates from this place. "The music," she says softly. "Is that you?" Idun smiles. "In a way, everything here makes music when it's content." The trees, the earth, the light, you make music too, though you may not hear it yet. Contentment has a sound, and this grove is filled with it. She gestures to the ground beside her, where the grass is thick and dotted with tiny white flowers that smell of vanilla and warmth. "Sit with me, if you'd like. There's no hurry to be anywhere else." Ira sits, and immediately feels the deep brightness of this place. The tree above them creates a canopy of blossoms, and occasionally a petal falls, drifting down like snow, but smelling of summer. Each petal that touches her skin feels like a blessing. "I keep the apples of youth," Idun says conversationally, reaching up to touch a blossom above her head. In the other Asgards, they prevent aging, keep the gods immortal. Here, they do something different. They remind you of what it felt like to be young, not in body but in spirit, before the world taught you to be afraid. She plucks something from the tree, not an apple, but something that glows gently in her hand, golden and warm. Would you like to remember? Ira nods, and Idun places the glowing fruit in her palm. It is warm and light, and when Ira brings it to her lips and takes a bite, the taste is like every good thing she has ever eaten. Ripe strawberries and warm honey and fresh bread and her grandmother's cooking all at once. But more than the taste, there is a feeling. She remembers being 7 years old, lying in grass on a summer afternoon with nothing to do but watch clouds. She remembers the absolute certainty that she was safe, that the world was good, that everything would be all right. She remembers what it felt like before she learned about danger and disappointment and fear. The memory does not make her sad for what she lost. Instead, it shows her that those feelings are still available, still true, still real. They have been here all along, waiting for her to remember them. "Thank you," she whispers, tears sliding down her cheeks, though they are not sad tears. They are the tears of someone finding something they thought was gone forever. Idun reaches out and gently wipes the tears away. "You can come here whenever you need to remember," she says. "This tree, this place, it's always here, and you belong here as much as anyone." They sit together under the tree, and Idun tells her about the grove, how it grows according to what its inhabitants need, how it shifts and changes to provide exactly the right kind of peace for each person who finds it. She speaks of the others who have come here over countless years, each one tired and worn, each one finding rest. "Some stay for a long time," Idun says. "Others rest briefly and then return to their worlds carrying this peace with them. There's no right way to be here. You stay as long as you need, and you leave when you're ready, and you can always come back." "I don't think I want to leave," Ira admits quietly. "Then don't," Idun says simply. "There's no rule that says you must. This is home if you need it to be." The word home settles into Ira's chest and stays there, warm and true. She has been searching for home her entire life, and now she realizes it was never a place she left. It was a feeling she forgot, and now she has found it again. Time passes, minutes or hours or days, and Ira simply sits with Idun under the tree of blossoms. Sometimes they talk, and sometimes they are silent. Sometimes Idun hums, and the grove hums with her. Sometimes Ira closes her eyes and just feels the peace of this place seeping into her bones, replacing old hurts with something softer. Eventually, Idun stands, brushing petals from her dress. "I must tend to the other trees," she says. "But you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. The tree knows you now. It will shelter you." Ira watches her go, and then she lies back in the grass, looking up through the blossoms to the soft sky beyond. The light filters through in patterns of pink and gold, and she can see stars beginning to appear even though it is not yet night. Or perhaps it is always a little bit night here, and always a little bit day, the perfect balance of both. She closes her eyes and listens to the music of the grove, the rustling leaves, the distant stream, the soft breath of wind, and underneath it all, a deeper sound like the earth itself breathing. It is the most peaceful sound she has ever heard, and she lets it carry her deeper into rest. When she opens her eyes again, the light has shifted to a deeper amber, and there is someone else in the clearing with her. A young man with bright, curious eyes and hair that seems to catch and hold the light. He is arranging stones in a pattern on the ground, fully absorbed in his task. "I'm Bragi," he says without looking up. "I arrange things. Stones, words, moments. Whatever needs arranging to find its right pattern." Ira watches as he places another stone, and suddenly she can see the pattern. A spiral that draws the eye inward to a point of perfect stillness. It is beautiful in a way that makes her chest ache. "Everything has a pattern," Bragi continues, still focused on his work. "Even chaos, even pain. From far enough away, it all makes sense. It all fits. Here, We're far enough away to see the pattern of your life, and I can tell you, it's beautiful. Even the hard parts. Especially the hard parts, because they brought you here. He finally looks up at her and smiles. You don't have to understand it all right now. You just have to trust that it makes sense, that it's all part of something larger and kinder than you can see from inside it. Can you trust that? Era thinks about her life, about all the moments that led her here. The struggles, the tiredness, the feeling of never quite belonging anywhere. And now, looking at them from this place of peace, she can almost see what Bragi means, how each piece, even the painful ones, were leading her to this grove, to this rest, to this understanding that she is held and safe and home. I think I can, she says. Good, Bragi says, placing the final stone. That's all you need. Trust and rest. Everything else will arrange itself in time. He stands and walks away into the trees, leaving his stone spiral behind. Eris sits up and looks at it, following the pattern with her eyes, around and inward until she reaches the center, a smooth black stone that seems to hold all the light of the grove and reflect it back, transformed into something gentler. She understands then that she is like that center stone, taking in everything that has happened to her and transforming it, here in this place of safety, into something new, something that can hold light instead of shadow, something that can rest. She rises and continues through the grove, and now she is no longer following any path or any sound. She is simply wandering, trusting that wherever she goes will be right. The trees seem to part for her, creating vistas of beauty, a meadow of silver grass that whispers in a breeze she cannot feel, a pond so still it reflects the sky perfectly, creating the illusion of infinite space. At the pond, she finds another figure, a woman with skin like polished mahogany and hair woven through with small silver bells that chime softly as she moves. She is sitting at the water's edge, dangling her feet in, and when she sees Ira, she pats the ground beside her. I'm Saga, the woman says. I keep the stories. All of them. The ones that have been told and the ones that haven't, the ones that are true and the ones that are true in different ways. Sit with me and rest. The water is nice. Era sits and removes her own feet into the pond. The water is perfect, not cold, not warm, but exactly right. It creates ripples that spread out in perfect circles, catching the light. Every person who comes here has a story, Saga says, watching the ripples. And every story, no matter how hard it's been, is moving toward peace. That's what stories do, even when it doesn't feel like it. They move toward resolution, toward rest, toward the moment when the struggle ends and the peace begins. She looks at Ira with eyes that seem infinitely deep. Your story has been hard. You fought for so long, not with swords or strength, but with the quiet endurance of someone who just keeps going, even when it hurts. And now, your story is arriving at the place where the fighting stops, where you get to rest. This is your resolution, Ira. This is your earned peace. The words wash over Era like the water around her feet, gentle, cleansing, true. She has been fighting for so long she forgot what it was like to not fight. And now, finally, she can stop. What happens to my story now? She asks. Saga smiles. Now, it becomes a story of rest, of healing, of a soul who was tired and found a place to lay down that burden. And maybe, eventually, it becomes a story of someone who carried their peace back to the world. Or maybe it becomes a story of someone who stayed here and helped others find their own peace. Either way, it's a good story. Your story is good, Ira. They sit together by the pond as the light slowly shifts from amber to a soft purple twilight. Stars appear in the water's reflection, and Ira realizes she cannot tell where the sky ends and the pond begins. Everything is connected here, earth and water and sky and light, and every person who rests within this grove. I think I'm starting to understand, Ira says quietly. Good, Saga replies. Understanding is good, but don't work too hard at it. Sometimes the best understanding comes when we stop trying and just let ourselves be held by the truth without grasping for it. Saga rises eventually, her bells chiming softly. The grove will show you what you need to see, when you need to see it. Trust it. Trust that you deserve this peace. And then she too is gone, walking into the trees until she becomes part of their shadows. Ira stays by the pond, watching the stars in the water. She can feel the grove around her like a living presence, not conscious in the way a person is conscious, but aware of her, aware of her needs, aware of exactly what she requires to heal. And it is providing all of it without her needing to ask. She is held, she is safe, she is home. And slowly, so slowly, she barely notices it happening, she is healing. The old hurts that she carried for so long are loosening their grip. The fear that kept her vigilant is melting away. The exhaustion that lived in her bones is being replaced by something lighter. Not energy exactly, but the absence of tiredness, the natural state of a body and soul at rest. She lies back on the soft grass by the pond, looking up at the real stars now, not their reflections. They are so bright here, so close. Each one seems to pulse with its own gentle rhythm, and together they create a symphony of light that she can almost hear. The grove breathes around her. The water laps softly at the shore. Somewhere far away she can hear voices. The others who share this space, each finding their own peace. The sound comforts her. She is alone, but not lonely. Solitary, but held within community. It is exactly what she needs. As the soft twilight deepens into something that might be night, but feels more like rest, Ira feels herself sinking deeper into the earth's embrace. The grass beneath her is soft as clouds, the air warm as breath, the stars above her like candles lit just for her protection. She is safe. She is safe. She is safe. And in that safety, she continues to rest, knowing that this is exactly where she belongs, exactly when she is supposed to be here, exactly who she is meant to be, a soul finding peace after a long journey home. Ira wakes, though she is not certain she was sleeping, to find the grove transformed. The light has shifted to something even softer, a silvery glow that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It is the quality of light that exists just before true dawn, when the world is suspended between darkness and day, holding both and being neither. She sits up slowly, her body feeling more rested than she can ever remember. Every muscle is loose and warm, every joint moving with an ease she had forgotten was possible. Even her breath comes differently now, slower, deeper, as if her lungs have finally remembered how to fill completely without the tightness of anxiety constricting them. The pond beside her reflects the silver light perfectly, creating a mirror surface so still it looks like glass. She can see herself in it, not just her face, but something deeper. She looks different here, younger perhaps, but not in years, in the way her eyes are soft instead of guarded, in the way her mouth rests in something close to a smile, even in stillness, in the way her whole being seems to glow with the same gentle light as the grove around her. She's changing here, becoming, or perhaps unbecoming, shedding layers of protection she no longer needs, revealing the self that was always underneath, waiting to be safe enough to emerge. Rising, she finds her feet bare but untroubled by the cool grass. Everything here touches her with kindness. Even the earth beneath her soul seems to know her, to welcome each step, to hold her up with something more than simple physics. She is supported here in ways she never was before, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The grove holds all of her, accepts all of her, asks nothing of her except that she exist. She walks, and the path reveals itself in that way it has, not appearing suddenly but simply being there when she needs it, as if it was always there and she's only now able to see it. The trees on either side are different from the ones before. These have bark that seems to shimmer with an inner light, and their leaves are silver on one side, gold on the other, creating a canopy that moves between precious metals with each gentle movement of air. The sound they make is like coins falling into water. Soft, bright, prosperous in a way that has nothing to do with wealth, and everything to do with richness of experience. She is rich here, Ira realizes. Rich in peace, in rest, in safety. Rich in the luxury of having nowhere to be and nothing to prove. As she walks, she notices details she missed before. The way tiny mushrooms grow in perfect circles at the base of some trees, glowing faintly blue. The way spiderwebs stretch between branches, but instead of catching insects, they catch light, holding it and transforming it into rainbows. The way certain stones along the path are smooth and warm, as if someone has been holding them, and when she picks one up, it fits her palm perfectly and pulses with a gentle heat that travels up her arm and settles in her chest like a second heartbeat. She keeps the stone, slipping it into a pocket she didn't know she had. Everything she needs appears here. Pockets for treasures, paths to follow, rest when she's tired, company when she's lonely, solitude when she needs to be alone. The grove anticipates her needs before she fully forms them, providing with the generosity of a universe that genuinely wants her to be well. The path leads her to a structure she hasn't seen before. Not quite a building, but a series of pillars made of white stone that glow softly in the silvery light. They form a circle, and in the center of that circle is a fire that burns without fuel, its flames dancing in colors she doesn't have names for. Blue and green and gold and something that might be silver, but moves like liquid light. Sitting beside the fire is a figure she recognizes from somewhere deep in her memory, though they have never met. A woman with dark skin and hair like starlight, wearing robes that seem to be made of night sky itself, complete with constellations that slowly rotate across the fabric. "I am not," the woman says, her voice deep and soothing as distant thunder. "I am the night. Not the frightening darkness you knew in your world, but the gentle darkness that allows rest. The darkness that says the day is over, your work is done, you can lay down your burdens now." Ira enters the circle of pillars and sits across the fire from Not. The flames cast no shadows. Instead, they seem to absorb darkness, creating a sphere of gentle radiance that feels like being inside a pearl. "I was afraid of the dark," Ira admits quietly. "For a long time. It felt like all the bad things waited there. Not Not's, understanding in her starlit eyes. Many are afraid. But darkness is not the enemy. Darkness is the canvas on which stars paint themselves. Darkness is the blanket that covers the earth so it can rest. Darkness is the space between heartbeats, between breaths, where the body remembers how to simply be." She gestures to the fire, and in its flames Ira sees images, not frightening ones but peaceful scenes. A child sleeping safely in bed, a forest at night, alive with the soft sounds of nocturnal creatures going about their gentle business, a city at night with lights in windows, each one representing someone safe in their home. The moon rising over water, painting everything silver. Night is not absence, not continuous. It is presence. It is the world saying, rest now. I will watch over you. I will hold you while you sleep. Nothing will harm you in my keeping. Here in this grove it is always a little bit night, the gentle part, the safe part, the part that exists only to provide rest. Dira feels something in her chest loosen, an old fear she didn't know she was still carrying. She looks at Nott and sees not something to fear, but something to trust. Night as protector, darkness as shelter. The end of day not as loss, but as permission to stop trying. What if I want to rest? Ira asks. Not just for a moment, but really rest? What if I'm too tired to keep going? Then rest, Nott says simply. Rest for as long as you need. There is no prize for pushing through exhaustion. There is no virtue in suffering when peace is available. You are allowed to stop, Ira. You are allowed to rest for as long as your soul requires. Days, months, years. It doesn't matter. Time here serves you, not the other way around. The permission settles over Era like a blanket. She can rest. She is allowed to rest. There is no guilt in it, no shame, no sense that she should be doing something else. Rest is not laziness here. It is holy work. It is the work of healing, of mending, of allowing the soul to remember its own shape after being compressed by the world for too long. Thank you, Era whispers, and Nott smiles. A smile like the moon rising, full of gentle power. Rest here by the fire as long as you need, Nott says. I will keep watch. That is what night does. It watches over those who sleep, protecting them, holding them, ensuring that nothing disturbs their peace. You are safe in my keeping, dear one, completely safe. Ira lies down on the ground within the circle of pillars. The stone is not hard. It has somehow become soft, or perhaps she has become lighter, or perhaps the distinction between hard and soft no longer matters in a place where everything conspires to provide comfort. The fire warms her without being too hot, and its colored flames dance in patterns that are almost hypnotic in their beauty. Above her, through the space between the pillars, she can see the sky. It is full of stars, more stars than she has ever seen, layered so thick they almost touch each other, creating rivers and clouds of light. And as she watches, they begin to move, slowly rotating in patterns that tell stories she almost understands. Stories of other souls who found rest, of other tired beings who were given permission to stop trying, of the universe's infinite capacity for gentleness. Nott begins to hum, a sound so low, Ira feels it more than hears it, resonating in her chest, matching her heartbeat and then slowing it, teaching her body the rhythm of true rest. Her eyelids grow heavy, not with exhaustion, but with the simple peace of being safe enough to close her eyes without vigilance. Sleep, if you wish. Nott's voice comes from somewhere far away and very close at once. Or simply rest in this twilight space. Both are good. Both are exactly right. Ira lets herself drift in that space between waking and sleeping. The soft place where thoughts become dreams, and dreams become feelings, and feelings become the texture of peace itself. She is warm. She is held. She is safe. The fire burns its impossible colors, and the stars turn overhead, and Nott watches over her like a mother watching over a sleeping child, and nothing in all the realms can touch her here. Time passes. She has no idea how much, and it doesn't matter. When she finally opens her eyes again, the light has shifted to something warmer, more golden. Nott is gone, but her presence lingers like a promise. The fire still burns, and around it now sit other figures, people like her, souls who found this grove and this rest. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the flames, occasionally sharing a smile or a gentle word, but mostly just being together in peace. Ira sits up and joins them in the wordless communion of shared safety. There is a young man who looks barely more than a boy, his eyes still wide with the wonder of finding this place. There is an elderly woman whose face is deeply lined but peaceful, as if she has finally set down a lifetime of burdens. There is someone whose form seems to shift between shapes, never quite settling but always beautiful. They are all here for the same reason: to rest, to heal, to remember what it feels like to be held by something greater than their pain. No one speaks, but understanding passes between them anyway. We are the tired ones. We are the ones who needed permission to stop. We are the ones who found this place that exists outside of time and demand and the endless pushing forward. We are home. Eventually, Ira rises and nods to her companions, and they nod back. Acknowledgement, blessing, recognition. She continues on her path through the grove, and now she notices that she is not walking alone. Small creatures accompany her. Birds that sing softly, rabbits that hop alongside without fear, a deer that walks beside her for a while before vanishing into the trees. They are not seeking anything from her, just sharing the path, offering their gentle companionship. The path leads her to a garden unlike anything she has seen before. It is enclosed by hedges that grow so thick and green they seem almost black, but the entrance is wide and welcoming, and the scent that wafts from within is intoxicating. Roses and jasmine and honeysuckle and things she has no names for, all blending into a perfume that makes her dizzy with pleasure. She enters, and the garden opens before her in layers of beauty. There are beds of flowers in every color, but they don't clash. Instead, they harmonize, creating symphonies of color that please the eye, the way music pleases the ear. There are fountains where water falls in sheets of crystal, playing notes as it splashes into pools. There are trees heavy with fruit that glows softly, and benches made of living wood that has grown into perfect seats. In the center of the garden, tending to a bed of pale blue flowers, is a woman with silver hair and hands that move with the surety of long practice. She looks up when Ira enters and smiles, dirt smudged on her cheek, looking utterly content. "Welcome to my garden," she says. "I am Sif. I grow things here, not because they're needed, but because growing things brings me joy, and joy is the only reason you ever need to do anything in this place." Ira watches as Sif returns to her work, her hands moving gently through the soil, encouraging roots to settle, persuading stems to straighten. There is something meditative about the way she works. No hurry, no frustration when something doesn't cooperate, just gentle persistence and obvious love. "Can I help?" Ira asks, and Sif's smile widens. "Of course. Here. There's always room for more hands, more hearts. Growing things is better when shared." She leads Ira to a patch of earth that looks ready for planting and hands her a small seedling. "This is a memory flower," Sif explains. "You plant it with a good memory, something that made you feel safe or happy or loved. And as it grows, it will bloom in colors that reflect that memory." The garden here is full of everyone's good memories growing together, creating beauty from joy. Ira kneels in the soft earth. It's warm and smells rich and alive, and thinks about what memory to give. There's so many to choose from now. The moment she first felt safe in this grove, sitting with Frid by the stream, the taste of Idun's golden fruit. Dawes promised that he would watch over her, Not's permission to rest, the understanding that passed between her and the others around the fire. She settles on the simplest one. The moment she first walked into this grove and felt the trees notice her, welcome her, accept her exactly as she was. She holds that memory in her heart as she nestles the seedling into the earth, covering its roots gently, patting the soil down with care. "Perfect," Sif says softly. "Now we water it with intention, the intention that this memory will continue to bring you peace every time you see it bloom." She hands Era a silver watering can, and when Era tips it over the newly planted seedling, what comes out is not water but something lighter, liquid-like perhaps, or crystallized joy. It soaks into the earth and the seedling shivers, seems to settle more deeply, seems to say thank you in a language without words. "It will bloom when it's ready," Sif says. "Maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year, maybe in a century. Time here is not the same, but whenever it blooms, you'll feel it. A little glow of warmth in your chest, reminding you that you are safe, you are held, you are home." They work together for a while, Era and Sif, planting and watering and tending. The work is peaceful, meditative. Her hands in the earth feel right, as if she was always meant to grow things, to tend beauty, to help joy take root and flourish. There is no rush, no deadline. They simply work until the work feels complete, and then they sit together on one of the living benches and look at what they've created. "I never had a garden before," Era says. "In my old life. There was never time, never space, never permission, I guess." "Here, there's always permission," Sif replies. "Permission to grow things, to rest, to play, to simply exist without justifying your existence through productivity. You are enough just by being. The garden grows because we enjoy it, not because it must, and that makes all the difference." She stands and brushes dirt from her hands. "You're welcome here anytime. The garden is yours as much as mine. Everything in this grove is yours. Every tree, every flower, every stone and stream and shaft of light. It all belongs to everyone, and that means it belongs to you completely." Era remains in the garden after Sif returns to her work, just sitting and breathing in the perfume of growing things. She can feel her seedling in the earth even though she can't see it yet, a tiny pulse of life holding her memory, promising to bloom. The thought makes her smile, a real smile that comes from somewhere deep and true. She is creating beauty here. She is part of something growing. She is not just being held by this place, she is contributing to it, adding her own small light to the vast constellation of peace that is this grove. The sun, or what serves as sun in this eternal twilight, shifts lower in the sky, and the light becomes amber and gold. Long shadows stretch across the garden, but they are not frightening. They are soft, edged, and gentle, creating patterns that enhance the beauty rather than obscuring it. Era rises and makes her way out of the garden, but she knows she will return. She has a reason to return now, a seedling to check on, growth to witness, a bloom to wait for. She's invested in this place in a new way. Not just as someone seeking refuge, but as someone creating home. The path leads Era back toward her hollow between the great tree roots, but she takes her time getting there. There is no rush. There has never been rush here, and there never will be. Time moves like honey, slow and sweet, and she moves through it like someone walking through warm water. Easy, supported, held. The light continues to shift, deepening from amber to rose to the softest purple. It is the color of rest itself, if rest had a color. It is the shade of peace, of safety, of the moment between waking and sleeping, when the body finally lets go. The grove bathes in this light, and everything becomes gentler still. The edges softer, the sounds quieter, the very air thicker with the promise of deep rest. Era's feet know the way now. They have walked this path before, and they will walk it many times again. but for now they carry her steadily, surely, toward the place that is hers. The moss beneath her feet is so soft it's like walking on clouds, each step a small pleasure, a tiny confirmation that she is safe, she is held, she is home. As she walks, she becomes aware of her body in a new way. Not the critical awareness of the world she left behind, where bodies were always too much or not enough, always needing improvement or discipline or control. This is a gentle awareness, a noticing without judgment. Her shoulders are loose. Her jaw is unclenched. Her breath comes slow and easy, filling her lungs completely and then releasing without effort. Her heart beats steady and calm, a drum marking time in a rhythm that says safe, safe, safe with every pulse. She notices these things not to change them, but simply to feel them, to be present in a body that is finally at rest. A body that is not preparing for danger, not bracing for impact, not holding itself together through sheer will. A body that has permission to simply be. The trees around her seem to lean in closer as she passes, their branches forming a canopy that filters the purple light into patterns on the path ahead. She can hear them breathing, or perhaps it's the wind moving through their leaves, but it sounds like breath, slow and deep and peaceful. The whole grove breathes with her, matching her rhythm, reminding her that she is part of something vast and alive and infinitely kind. Small lights begin to appear in the dimming twilight, not harsh or sudden, but gentle glows that emerge gradually like stars appearing at dusk. They float through the air around her, these lights, drifting on currents she cannot feel. They are not fireflies exactly, though they move like them. They are something else. Small pieces of peace made visible, fragments of safety given form. They dance around her head, around her shoulders, leaving trails of soft luminescence that fade slowly, like the afterimage of something beautiful. One of the lights comes to rest on her outstretched palm, and she can feel it, not as heat or weight, but as a sense of being noticed, being cared for, being seen. The light pulses gently, in time with her heartbeat, and then lifts off again to join its companions in their slow wandering dance through the trees. She is so tired. Not the exhausted, wrung-out tiredness she knew before, but a good tiredness. The tiredness that comes after a day spent in the garden, hands in warm earth. The tiredness that settles into muscles that have been held too tight for too long, and are finally releasing. The tiredness that is not a burden, but a gift. The body's way of saying yes now. It is time to rest deeply. Her hollow appears ahead, nestled between the massive roots of the oldest tree in the grove. It looks different in this light, softer somehow, more inviting, as if it has been preparing for her return. The moss inside has grown thicker, forming a bed so perfect it might have been shaped by her own body's imprint. Small flowers have bloomed around the entrance, their petals closed for the night, but releasing a scent like lavender and chamomile and warm milk and every soothing smell that ever eased someone into sleep. She reaches the hollow and stands for a moment at its entrance, looking out at the grove. The purple light has deepened to indigo now, and the stars overhead are so bright they cast shadows, soft, gentle shadows that make the world feel smaller, cozier, safer. She can hear the distant stream, its murmur like a lullaby. She can hear the trees breathing their slow, deep breaths. She can hear, very faintly, the sound of others in the grove's soft footsteps, quiet voices, gentle laughter, all the sounds of souls at peace, and knowing they are there, knowing she is not alone in this vast, safe space, makes her feel held in a way she has never felt before. She turns and enters her hollow, and it welcomes her like a long embrace. The moss yields beneath her as she lies down, conforming to every curve of her body, supporting her completely. The roots above form a ceiling that is both shelter and sky. She can see through them to the stars beyond, but she feels enclosed, protected, safe from anything that might disturb her rest. The air here is perfect, not too warm, not too cool, but exactly the temperature of comfort. It smells of earth and growing things, and that particular scent of safety that she is learning to recognize. It's the smell of the grove itself, she realizes. The accumulated peace of everyone who has ever rested here, layered upon itself until it becomes a tangible thing, a presence that soaks into her skin and tells her body it can let go now. It can stop trying. It can rest. She adjusts her position slightly, finding the exact right way to lie on her back with her arms loose at her sides, her legs uncrossed, her whole body open and undefended because there is no need for defense here. The moss curves around her like gentle hands, cradling her head, supporting her spine, making sure every part of her is held. Above her, through the latticework of roots and branches, the stars continue their slow dance. She watches them, without trying to make patterns, without trying to understand. She simply watches, and they simply shine, and that is enough. The lights, those small floating pieces of peace drift by occasionally, adding their glow to the starlight, creating a constantly shifting pattern of illumination that is hypnotic in its gentleness. Her breathing has slowed without her noticing. Each inhale is deep and full, pulling in air that tastes of night and rest and safety. Each exhale is long and complete, releasing everything she no longer needs. Tension, worry, the habit of vigilance, the weight of trying. With each breath out, she becomes lighter. With each breath in, she becomes more at peace. The grove continues its evening song around her. The stream murmurs its endless lullaby. The trees whisper to each other in voices too soft to make out words, but full of meaning nonetheless. Somewhere a bird calls, not the sharp cry of alarm, but a soft, settling sound, the sound of a creature preparing for sleep, telling others that all is well, that the night is safe, that they can rest now. Ira's body grows heavy. Her legs feel as though they are sinking into the moss, becoming part of the earth itself. Her arms are warm and weighted, no longer needing to move or adjust or do anything except rest where they are. Her chest rises and falls with her breath, and each fall seems to take her deeper into the moss, deeper into the earth, deeper into rest. Her eyes want to close, and she lets them. The darkness behind her eyelids is not frightening. It is soft and welcoming like not promised. It is the gentle darkness that exists only to provide rest, only to allow sleep. She can still see the lights through her closed lids, their glow painting the inside of her eyes with soft colors that pulse in time with her heartbeat. Thoughts drift through her mind like clouds across a summer sky, slow, soft-edged, unthreatening. She thinks of Frigg's gentle hands, of Thor's promise to watch over her, of Idun's tree of blossoms, of the seedling she planted in Sif's garden. She thinks of all the beings she met who offered her pieces of peace, who helped her understand that rest is not weakness, that stopping is not failure, that she is allowed, encouraged even, to simply be. The thoughts don't demand anything from her. They don't need to be examined or analyzed or held onto. They simply pass through, and she notices them the way she notices clouds, with a distant, peaceful awareness that doesn't disturb her deepening rest. Her breath slows further. The space between each breath grows longer, not frightening, not a lack, but a deep settling, her body remembering that it doesn't need to rush, doesn't need to stay alert. Can trust the night to hold it while it rests. 4 counts in, she breathes. 6 counts out. Then 5 in, 7 out. the rhythm slowing, slowing like a clock winding down to the perfect speed of sleep. The moss beneath her is so warm. It radiates a gentle heat that seeps into her back, her legs, her arms, warming her from the outside in until she feels like she is made of the same soft warmth as the grove itself. Her muscles, already loose, loosen further. Places she didn't know were tense release. Her jaw falls open slightly. Her hands uncurl. Her toes point and then relax. Every part of her body receives the message, safe, safe, safe. Rest now. You can rest now. The sounds of the grove begin to blend together into one continuous hum, not loud, never loud, but present. A sound like the ocean from far away, or like being inside a shell held to the ear, or like the sound of the universe itself breathing. It is the sound of peace made audible, and it fills her ears, fills her head, fills her chest, until there is no room for anything else. Just this sound, just this warmth, just this safe, soft, held feeling of being exactly where she belongs. Time has stopped meaning anything. She might have been lying here for minutes or hours or days. It doesn't matter. There is no place she needs to be, no time she needs to wake, no schedule to keep. She can rest here for as long as her body needs, for as long as her soul requires, and the grove will hold her through all of it, keeping her safe, keeping her warm, keeping her exactly as she is. The stars above are dimming now, or perhaps her awareness of them is fading as she sinks deeper into rest. They are still there. She can feel their presence, their gentle watching. But they are moving further away, or she is moving deeper down into layers of rest that exist beneath consciousness, beneath thought, beneath everything except the simple fact of being held and safe. Her breath is so slow now, so deep. Each inhale seems to take forever, filling her completely from her belly to her chest to her throat, and then each exhale takes even longer, emptying her of everything except peace. The space between breaths grows longer still. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15, and in those spaces there is only stillness, only the sound of the grove. Only the warmth of the moss, only the weight of her body being held by the earth. She is sinking, not falling. There is no fear in it, no sense of danger. She is sinking the way a stone sinks into still water, slowly, gently, inevitably, following the natural pull of rest, drawing her down into depths that exist only to cradle her. The moss is so soft it might not be there at all, or she might have become so light that she floats within it, suspended in perfect comfort. The roots above her, the tree that shelters her, it is breathing with her. She can feel its ancient breath, so much slower than her own, marking time in hours instead of seconds. One breath of the tree spans dozens of hers, and she finds her rhythm being pulled into alignment with it, slowing further, deepening, becoming part of the great slow breath of the earth itself. There are no more thoughts now, just sensation, the warmth along her back, the softness beneath her head, the cool air moving gently across her face. The sound of the grove stream and trees and wind and the quiet movements of other souls, finding their own rest, all of it blending into one continuous experience of being held, being safe, being home. Her body is so heavy now, it feels like it could sink through the moss, through the earth, all the way to the center of the world where the deepest rest lives. And maybe it is sinking. Maybe she is being drawn down into that infinite depth of peace, layer by layer, breath by slow breath, until she exists only as a small, warm spark of consciousness cradled in darkness, so gentle it feels like love. The lights, those small floating pieces of peace, have come to rest around her hollow. They line the roots above like tiny guardian stars, their glow so soft it barely disturbs the darkness, just enough light to create the feeling of being in a cocoon, a womb, a space that exists only for rest. They pulse very gently, very slowly, and she realizes they are pulsing in time with her breath, or perhaps her breath has slowed to match their rhythm, or perhaps there is no difference anymore between her and them and the moss and the tree and the grove and the great gentle night that holds all of it. As this tale settles into the soft earth of your own rest, as the grove and its gentle guardians fade into the background of awareness, let the sounds of this peaceful realm carry you deeper. The stream's murmur continues, steady and sure, a promise that the world goes on, taking care of itself, needing nothing from you. The trees breathe their ancient breath, and you are safe within that breathing, held in a rhythm older than worry, deeper than fear. The night is so calm here, so infinitely, endlessly calm. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, no one you need to become. You are exactly right as you are, exactly where you should be, and the grove knows this, accepts this, celebrates this. You are held. You are watched over. Every star above, every root below, every particle of air around you, all of it is working together to ensure your rest. Your body knows what to do. It has always known. It remembers how to rest even when your mind forgot. And now, with permission, with safety, with the gentle support of this place that exists only for peace, your body is doing what it was always meant to do. Relaxing, releasing, softening, letting go of every last bit of tension until there is nothing left but warmth and weight, and the slow, slow rhythm of breath moving in and out like waves on the most peaceful shore. There is no need to try. Trying has no place here. Sleep is not something you do, but something that is done to you, something that finds you when the conditions are right, and here, now, in this moment, everything is so perfectly right. The moss holds you, the tree shelters you, the stars watch over you, the grove breathes with you. Every element of this place is conspiring to give you exactly what you need. Let your eyes stay closed if they are closed. Let your thoughts drift away if they are drifting. Let your body sink if it is sinking. There is no wrong way to rest here. However you are in this moment is exactly perfect. Heavy or light, still or floating, aware or fading, all of it is right. All of it is exactly as it should be. The night is so safe, so completely, utterly safe. Nothing that hurt you can reach you here. Nothing that worried you has any power in this place. You are protected by more than walls or locks or distance. You are protected by the fundamental kindness of a universe that wants you to rest, that has created this space. Real or imagined, it doesn't matter. Where rest is not just possible but inevitable. Feel how your breath is slowed. Feel how your body has grown heavy. Feel how your mind has begun to drift into that soft space between waking and sleeping, where the boundaries blur and everything becomes gentle. You are exactly where you need to be in that journey. Not forced, not rushed, just naturally, inevitably moving toward rest because rest is calling you, and it is safe to answer that call. The sounds of the grove stream and trees and the distant settling of other souls. They create a blanket of sound that covers you, that holds you, that promises you nothing will disturb this peace. They will continue all through the night, these sounds, and they will be here when you wake, and you will know that you are held in sound and safety every moment, that you are never alone, never unprotected, never anything less than completely cherished. Let go of any last effort to stay aware, to stay conscious, to maintain some grip on waking. There is no need. You can trust this place. You can trust the night. You can trust your own body's wisdom about when it is time to stop holding on and simply fall into the waiting arms of sleep. Very safe. You are very safe. Every breath takes you deeper. Every moment of stillness holds you more completely. Every second that passes adds another layer of peace, another level of protection, another degree of rest. You are sinking into peace so deep that nothing can reach you there except the knowledge that you are loved, you are held, you are exactly where you belong. Nothing to do, nothing to figure out, nothing to hold on to. Just this moment, this breath, this feeling of being so completely, perfectly, safely held that letting go is the only thing that makes sense. The only thing that is possible. The only thing that is already happening as your consciousness fades like the last light of evening into the gentle darkness of sleep. Sleep comes on its own. Let it find you gently. In the deepest part of the night where consciousness becomes something softer than thought, Ira rests in her hollow between the ancient roots. The grove has grown quieter still, if such a thing is possible. The sounds that remain are so gentle they barely qualify as sound at all. More like the memory of sound, the suggestion of peace made audible in the softest possible way. The moss beneath her has warmed to exactly her body's temperature, creating the sensation that she is not lying on something but within it, cradled completely, surrounded by warmth that knows her shape and holds it perfectly. There is no pressure anywhere, no point of discomfort, no need to shift or adjust. She has found the exact position of perfect rest, and her body knows it, and everything in her, muscles, bones, blood, breath. Everything settles deeper into this rightness. Her breath continues its slow journey in and out, and with each cycle she becomes less aware of breathing and more aware of being breathed, as if the grove itself is moving air. Through her lungs, taking care of this basic function so she doesn't have to think about it anymore. 4 counts in, but she doesn't count. 7 counts out, but she doesn't notice. The breath simply happens, the way water flows downhill, following the natural path of least resistance toward deeper rest. The tree above her, the great ancient tree whose roots form her shelter. She can feel its presence even more strongly now in this deep quiet. It is so old, this tree. It has stood here for centuries, perhaps millennia, perhaps since time itself began in this realm. It has sheltered countless souls before her, and it will shelter countless more after. And right now, in this moment, it shelters her with the full weight of its ancient, patient love. Its roots pulse very gently with life, and she can feel those pulses through the moss, through her body, like a slow heartbeat that isn't her own, but feels more real than her own, more true. The heartbeat of the earth itself, perhaps. The steady, unshakable rhythm of something so vast and old and safe that resting against it means resting against the fundamental nature of peace itself. The stars above have dimmed to the faintest glow, or perhaps she has descended so deep into rest that she can barely perceive them anymore. They're still there. She knows this without looking, without thinking. They are keeping their watch, as they always do, as they always will. Every soul in this grove sleeps under their protection, and that protection requires nothing from her, no acknowledgement or gratitude or awareness. It simply exists, constant as gravity, gentle as dawn. The small lights, those floating pieces of peace, have settled around her hollow like tiny guardians. They barely glow now, just the faintest luminescence, like stars reflected in still water, like the last embers of a fire that is burned down to pure warmth with no flame. They pulse so slowly, once every 10 breaths, once every 20, and each pulse is a gentle reminder that she is not alone, that she is watched over, that she can let go completely because something else is keeping vigil. Her body has become so heavy, it feels like she could sink through the earth to the center of the world. Her arms are weighted as if made of gold, precious and dense, unable to move, not from paralysis, but from the profound weight of complete relaxation. Her legs have disappeared into the moss, into the earth, or perhaps they are still there, but she has stopped being able to tell where her body ends and the grove begins. The boundaries are blurring, dissolving, becoming permeable as she merges with this place that holds her. Her face has gone slack, all the tiny muscles that hold expression released. Her jaw hangs open just slightly, her tongue resting heavy in her mouth. Her eyelids are so heavy they might be sealed, might never open again, and this thought, if it can even be called a thought at this depth, doesn't frighten her. She could stay here forever, resting in this hollow, held by this tree, cradled by this grove, and that would be exactly right. Time has ceased to have any meaning at all. She might have been here for minutes or months or lifetimes. The grove exists outside of time, and she exists within the grove, which means she too is outside of time now, in a space where moments don't pass, but simply are, eternal and unchanging and infinitely peaceful. The stream's voice has become almost subliminal, more vibration than sound, resonating through the earth and into her body, aligning her cells with its frequency, teaching every particle of her being the rhythm of endless, effortless flow. Water over stones, forever and always, needing nothing, going nowhere, just being water, just being stones, just being the eternal meeting of one with the other in perfect, peaceful friction. The trees around her hollow, the ancient sentinels of this grove, they are breathing their slow, slow breaths, and she's inside those breaths somehow, suspended in the vast patience of their exhalation, held aloft by the gentle power of their inhalation. She rises and falls with them, her tiny human rhythm nested within their great vegetal rhythm, both of them nested within the even greater rhythm of the earth itself turning through space, all of it connected, all of it one great system of rest. Somewhere in the grove, she knows without knowing, others are resting too. She can sense them. Not their individual presences, but the collective weight of peaceful souls, all sinking together into this shared depth. They are all held by the same moss, sheltered by similar trees, watched over by the same stars. They are all breathing the same soft air, all dissolving into the same gentle darkness. They are separate but united in rest, alone but together in peace. Frigg is somewhere near, perhaps sitting by the stream still, perhaps lying in her own hollow, perhaps wandering the paths between the trees. Wherever she is thinking of Ira and all the others, holding them in her awareness with the mother's gentle attention, making sure they are safe, making sure they are warm, making sure they know they are loved. That attention is like a blanket laid over the grove, invisible but felt, weightless but warm. Thor tends his eternal fire somewhere, feeding flames that need no fuel, watching over souls who need no protection because they are already in the safest place that exists. But he watches anyway, because watching is what he does, because his strength finds purpose in guarding peace, in ensuring that nothing disturbs the rest of those who have earned it. Idan's tree drops its blossoms one by one, so slowly, and each petal that falls carries a memory of youth, of innocence, of the time before weariness became a constant companion. Those petals drift through the grove and land on sleeping souls like gentle benedictions, like reminders that they were once young and unburdened, and they can be that way again, here, now, forever. Loki shifts between forms, somewhere in the darkness, trying on shapes like someone trying on clothes, finding comfort in the fluidity of being, in the knowledge that nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent except the grove itself, except the peace itself, except the fundamental rightness of rest. And he smiles in whatever form he wears, glad that souls like Ira have found this place where they can be fluid too, where they can shift and change and become whatever shape their healing requires. Not the gentle night. She is everywhere and nowhere. She is the darkness that holds them all, the soft black velvet that wraps around consciousness and pulls it down into rest. She is the permission to close eyes, to stop watching, to trust that the world will continue without their vigilance. She is the voice that whispers sleep. Now, sleep now. You are allowed, you are safe, sleep now. Sif tends her garden in the darkness, or perhaps she too has found her place to rest, but either way the plants they grew together continue growing. Ira's seedling pushes roots deeper into the soil, gathering strength, preparing for the bloom that will come in its own time. It holds her memory safe. The memory of being noticed by trees, of being welcomed, of being home. And one day, when she wakes, whenever she wakes, she will find that memory has bloomed into something beautiful, something she can visit and touch and smell and know that her peace has taken root in this place. The stone she collected earlier, the warm stone that fit perfectly in her palm, it rests in her pocket now, or perhaps it has merged with her body somehow. Perhaps it is inside her chest where her heart beats slowly. Perhaps it has become her heart, pulsing with the same gentle warmth, the same patient heat, keeping her alive in the most basic, fundamental way, while asking nothing in return. All the beings she met, all the conversation she had, all the pieces of peace they offered her. They are all here now, layered around her like blankets. Like the moss is one blanket, and Frigg's words are another, and Thor's protection is another, and Idun's fruit is another, and Not's permission is another, and Sif's garden soil is another, and Bragi's stone spiral is another, and Saga's promise that her story is good is another. Layer upon layer of peace, weight upon weight of safety, until she is buried so deep in comfort that nothing can reach her except the knowledge that she is loved. Her consciousness, what little remains of it, flickers like a candle in wind. Moments of awareness. I am here. I am held. I am safe. And then moments of nothing, of pure darkness, of the absence that is not absence but fulfillment, the emptiness that is actually fullness, the void that contains everything. She flickers between these states like a light turning on and off, but each time the light comes on it is dimmer, and each time it goes off the darkness lasts longer, and she knows without knowing that soon the light will go off and stay off, and that will be sleep, that will be the final surrender into rest. The moss continues to hold her. The tree continues to shelter her. The stars continue to watch. The grove continues to breathe. And she continues to sink, to soften, to dissolve into the peace that has been waiting for her since before she was born. The peace that will hold her long after she is gone. The peace that is eternal and unchanging and infinitely patient. She is so tired. So beautifully, perfectly tired. The kind of tired that is not exhaustion, but readiness. Ready to sleep. Ready to let go. Ready to trust that she will be held through the night and wake whenever she wakes and find the grove still here, still safe, still home. Her last thought, if it can be called a thought, is gratitude. Not a wordy, elaborate gratitude, but something simpler. A feeling, a warmth in her chest, a small internal gesture that says thank you to the moss, to the tree, to the stars, to the grove, to every being who helped her find this place, to the universe itself for creating a space where tired souls can finally rest. And then even that dissolves. Even gratitude becomes too much effort, too much awareness. She lets it go too, lets everything go, and falls into darkness so complete and so gentle that it feels like love, like being held by arms so vast they could embrace the world, like being loved so thoroughly that nothing is left out, nothing forgotten, nothing unloved. The grove holds her. The night holds her. Peace holds her. And she sleeps, deeply and completely, in the safest place that has ever existed, cradled by the earth and watched over by stars and wrapped in the infinite gentleness of a universe that wants nothing more than for her to rest. Sleep comes on its own. Let it find you gently. The darkness is complete now. Not the darkness of fear or uncertainty, but the darkness of perfect rest. The darkness that exists in the deepest caves, in the quietest nights, in the most protected spaces, where nothing has ever disturbed the peace. Era exists within this darkness, not as something separate from it, but as part of it. A small, warm center of consciousness, wrapped in layers and layers of soft black peace. Her breath is barely perceptible now. The space between breaths has grown so long that each one feels like a separate event, unconnected to the ones before or after. Breathe in, and minutes pass in perfect stillness. Breathe out, and more minutes dissolve into the timeless quiet. Her chest rises so slowly, falls so slowly, that if anyone were watching they might wonder if she breathed at all. But she does. Slow, so slow. Just enough to sustain life at its most minimal, most restful level. The grove around her has settled into its own deep rest. Even the stream has grown quieter, its voice dropping to the barest whisper, more memory than sound. The trees have stilled, their branches motionless in air that has forgotten how to move. The stars continue their watch, but even their light has dimmed to almost nothing, just the faintest suggestion of illumination, just enough to keep the darkness from being total, to remind her somewhere deep in her unconsciousness that she is not alone, never alone, always held. The moss beneath her has become indistinguishable from her own body. She cannot tell anymore where her back ends and the moss begins. They have merged, become one thing, one continuous surface of warmth and support. She is the moss. The moss is her. Or perhaps there is no distinction anymore. Perhaps at this depth of rest such boundaries simply cease to exist, and everything is just warmth, just softness, just the eternal cradle of earth holding life. Her heartbeat has slowed to match the ancient rhythm of the tree above her. One beat every several seconds, steady as stone, patient as seasons. Each beat moves blood through her body so slowly, so gently, that it creates no disturbance, no ripple of awareness. Just the basic maintenance of life, continuing without her needing to know about it, without her needing to do anything at all. Her body knows how to keep going without her attention, and it does, faithfully, lovingly, asking nothing in return. Deep in her mind, below thought, below dream, below anything that could be called consciousness, there is a small, warm place where her sense of self still exists. It is tiny now, condensed to almost nothing, just a small point of awareness that knows I am, that knows here, that knows safe. It doesn't think these words. Words require too much energy, too much structure. It just knows them, the way a seed knows how to grow, the way water knows how to flow downhill. Fundamental knowledge that requires no thought. And even this small point of awareness is fading. Not dying. Nothing dies here, but dissolving, spreading out, becoming less concentrated, diffusing into the larger piece of the grove like a drop of honey dissolving in warm water. The boundaries of self becoming permeable, transparent, finally disappearing altogether as she becomes not. Irera resting in the grove, but the grove itself, resting. She's the moss holding her. She's the tree sheltering her. She's the stars watching over her. She's the darkness wrapping around her. She is the stream in the distance, and the roots beneath the earth and the air moving so gently through the space and the peace that permeates everything. She is all of it and none of it, and the distinction has ceased to matter because at this depth there is no distinction. There is only rest, there is only peace, there is only the eternal now of perfect safety. Time has stopped. Not flowing differently, but actually stopped, frozen in this single moment of ultimate rest. She will stay in this moment forever, or she will stay for no time at all, and both are true simultaneously. The grove exists outside of time, and she exists outside of herself, and together they exist in a space where duration has no meaning, where beginning and end have collapsed into each other, where there is only the eternal present of being held. If thoughts could form at this depth, and they cannot, but if they could, they would be simple, safe, warm, held, home. But even these are too complex, too defined. What remains is simpler than words, simpler than concepts. Just the raw feeling of rightness, of being exactly where she belongs, of everything being exactly as it should be. A body, somewhere far away, continues its basic functions. Blood moves, lungs expand and contract. Heart beats. Cells repair themselves, toxins are filtered, muscles heal from years of tension finally released. All of this happens in darkness, in silence, in the deep rest that allows true healing. Her body does its work without her awareness, without her permission, without her needing to do anything at all except be still and allow it. The grove breathes one great slow breath, and she is inside that breath, suspended in it like a child in a womb, held in the pause between inhalation and exhalation where everything is balanced, perfect, still. The moment stretches. Seconds become minutes, become hours, become lifetimes. Or perhaps no time passes at all. Perhaps she has always been here, will always be here, has never been anywhere else. Perhaps her entire life before this was just a dream she had while resting in this hollow, and this is the only reality, this peace, this safety, this home. The small lights that lined her shelter have gone dark now, or perhaps they still glow, but she has descended too deep to perceive them anymore. It doesn't matter. Their light, or lack of light, the stars above or below or nowhere, the moss soft or hard or not there at all, none of it matters at this depth. She is beyond being affected by circumstances because she has dissolved beyond the self that circumstances could affect. Somewhere, in a world so distant it might as well be imagined, there is a person called Ira who is tired and found a grove and rested. But that person seems like a story now, like something that happened to someone else, like a memory from a life that might not have been hers at all. Here, now, there is no person. There is only peace. Only the vast, gentle, infinite peace of the grove holding itself, breathing itself, being itself. And in that peace, there is no need for anything. No need for food or water or warmth beyond what is already present. No need for companionship or solitude, because those distinctions have dissolved. No need for waking or sleeping, because she has moved beyond both into a third state that has no name, a state of pure rest that requires nothing and offers everything. The roots above her pulse with their slow life. The earth below her pulses with its ancient warmth, and between them she rests, a small spark of consciousness. Or perhaps not even consciousness anymore. Perhaps just existence. Perhaps just being held safe between earth and sky, between root and star, between the vast solidity below and the infinite space above. Nothing disturbs this peace. Nothing can disturb it. Wind does not reach here. Sound does not penetrate. Light does not intrude. Even thought cannot enter this space. It is perfectly, absolutely, eternally still. The stillness at the center of all movement. The silence at the heart of all sound. the darkness from which all light emerges and to which all light returns. She could rest here forever. She could rest here for no time at all. Both are true. Both are happening. She is both resting and beyond resting, both here and beyond here, both herself and beyond self. All paradoxes are true at this depth. All contradictions resolve. Everything that seemed complicated becomes simple again, becomes just this, just now, just the eternal present moment of peace. And in that peace, in that stillness, in that perfect safety, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to be, nothing left to want or need or hope for or fear. There is only rest, only the great, gentle, infinite rest that has been waiting since before time began, that will continue after time ends, that holds all beings in all realms in its vast, patient, loving embrace. The grove holds her, peace holds her, love holds her, and she rests completely, perfectly, eternally in the safest place that has ever existed or ever will exist, wrapped in darkness so gentle it feels like light, held by silence so complete it sounds like music, surrounded by stillness so profound it moves through her like water through water, like breath through air, like peace through peace. Safe, so safe, forever safe. Nothing to do, nothing to be, nothing to hold, nothing to release, just this, just rest, just the eternal, infinite, perfect now, of being held by something so much larger than self that self disappears and only love remains. Sleep comes on its own. Let it find you gently. Let it hold you completely. Let it carry you through this night and all nights, keeping you safe, keeping you warm, keeping you exactly as you are, perfect, whole, complete, and infinitely, eternally loved. Rest now. Rest deep. Rest forever in this moment that has no end and no beginning. Only the eternal present of perfect peace. The grove holds you. The earth holds you. The earth holds you. The universe holds you. And you are safe. You are so safe. You are held. You are home. Sleep now. Sleep deep. Sleep well.